Many thanks, everyone, for staying with us. Many reactions, of course, have followed the return of the guests. We will continue to take them on and engage our studio girls, guests on the program tonight. For Amnesty International, it is such a relief that the Dapchi girls are back. The organization, which on Tuesday said it had uncovered evidence that some Nigerian military and security agents were alerted hours before the abduction on February the 19th, responded to the news of the release of over 100 of the schoolgirls through a statement on Wednesday. So let's get back to my panel on the program tonight. Mr. Judilo is a lawyer and the country head of Osiwa, also a retired military officer, Colonel Yomi Dare. Thank you so much for your time on the program. So let's quickly go into some very important issues here. Quickly, Mr. Judilo, because I cut you in your line of conversation earlier. So with all what we have on the ground now, we see the camaraderie from the government and how these all happen. It does not look like, it does look like the government really understand because that these girls will come back, because one of the ministers had said a few days ago that they are working on bringing these girls back. For a government that is responsive, and you heard the Minister of Information saying that they were not in government when the Chibok girls were taking, and some of the conversation around what happened before and what has happened now in the responsiveness of government. Are you impressed also on that?
Yeah, Shaun, I find it very offensive that people will be making comparison about, people in this government should be making comparison about how they responded to the Dapchi girls and how the Chibok girls, the response that was given to the Chibok girls. You know, we cannot be doing a comparison of negativity here, for Christ's sake. If Chibok girls were taken, then Dapchi girls shouldn't have been taken. That should be the comparison. Not about, oh, they did not respond well, we are responding well. I find these things, I don't know the value we've put to human life in this country. The fact that little girls who went to school spent how many weeks down in captivity, it should embarrass us as a people. It should hurt us as a government. And so this comparison, in my view, shows a serious disconnect with the discontent and fear that is pervasive in this country, in the sense that people don't even believe that government can protect them anymore. And keep in mind that this is not an isolated event. It's been a long chain of violence and death since January of this year. It's been going on last year, but at least in January alone, we've recorded between the herdsmen farmers crisis, more than 600 deaths in January alone. And so a country that is bleeding this way shouldn't be in the theatrics of comparison of what somebody did in 2015 and what somebody is doing in 2018. If we are still having the same kind of security situation we had in 2015, 3 years after, that is failure on our part as a country. And so I'm not impressed by that analysis. I think it is offensive, and I think people should stop doing that.
Colonel Dare, you are the expert here as a military officer trained in all of these, on how these things work. The minister says no ransom paid, no any kind of swap for these pupils. What is the possibility of this kind of thing? Because it looked like a rarity if those two are not in place for these girls to be returned. What are the other possibilities that could have brought these girls back anyways?
Well, Shaun, personally, now I'm going to speak for myself. I'm not interested in comparison too, but at the same time, once the government have said that they did not pay any ransom, well, I want to believe that they should be truthful enough to tell the nation what they have done. What I consider very important here is how to forestall a future reoccurrence of this incident, okay? And the way I believe we should go about this is for the security agencies to avoid any blame game here. We should go back to the drawing board, and they must look at what exactly is the problem here, and they must cover all gaps. Okay? They must cover all gaps to forestall
Conadari, quickly, if I may quickly button, I'm sorry. Do you see a failure of intelligence? Because of some of the issues that have happened, and so if we need to forestall future occurrence of this kind of sad scenario playing out, what exactly do we need to do if there is actually a failure of intelligence in security apparatus?
Well, I am not going to outrightly condemn the security agencies here. And that's why I'm saying that there shouldn't be a blame game. All they need to do, there should be more synergy amongst the security agencies. And we must invest more in intelligence. And intelligence cuts across, okay? Governments, the state governments, the federal government must be prepared to invest in intelligence. And aside that too, and like I've said severally on this forum, when we discuss security, it's high time that even we should start from elementary schools so that we teach our children. They should be taught on the basics of security. Because honestly, security is everybody's business. We cannot say the government alone should handle security. It is everybody's business.
Okay, because
the children should know how to identify.
We're out of time, Conadari.
And aside,
we're out of time because we need to go. But it won't be fair if I don't allow Mr. Ilo to give us his closing thoughts just in 30 seconds. Where do we go from here, Mr. Ilo? Just in 30 seconds.
I think as a country, we need to find our humanity back because I think we lost it. We've trivialized the quality of the value of human lives. And so we've got into that game of, oh, one person died only, 5 people died only. You know, every life is important. And as a government, the government should focus on the fact that we have to protect every life in this country. I think that's my final word. Every human being in this country counts. And we should do anything whatsoever, anything, to make sure that these lives are protected.
Okay. Mr. Judulo, a lawyer and the country head of Ostiwa, thank you so much for your time on the program. Retired military officer, Colonel Yomi Dare, thank you so much for your time, gentlemen, on the program tonight. That's our show for tonight. Many thanks for being part of it, wherever you may be watching, your TV or your mobile devices. Thank you. We'll see you yet again tomorrow. Bye-bye.